Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Celtics Talk podcast. We're recording this. We're just going to be transparent here. We're recording this on Saturday night. Someone on this panel here, between me, Chris Forsberg, and you, Eddie House, is heading home.
Yes.
Very soon. You can see the joy in his face after 9 games. How many?
Since the 24th of October, I've been out.
Wow.
So, I haven't been home for a while, so I can't wait to get back home.
So he is going back as the Celtics now 7-2. So I just wanted to take your temperature. We played a game of 5 questions before the season
It looks like I got
started.
a hat on right there behind me.
A big microphone hat. For those listening on the audio version, Eddie is directly in front of our Celtics Talk logo, and it looks like he's wearing a fun hat. So I got 5 questions for you. We talked before the season. We didn't know quite how this would play out. 7-2 feels about what we were thinking, but what is the most encouraging thing you've seen from this team through the first 9 games?
Well, I see that they can win in different ways. It's not strictly on, hey, we're going to win by just a 3, or we're going to just pound into like they did tonight against the Raptors. We're going to pound it inside in the paint. They've done it in different ways. You know, if they went on runs because of their defense, they went on runs because of their offense. Mm-hmm. They found different ways. They exploit mismatches. And in their selflessness, I see guys that want to see other guys get off. You know, you have the opportunity if you're Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown to go out and shoot 20, 23, 24 shots every single night, and they choose not to. They choose to be efficient. They choose to make the right plays for the right person because they're trying to win, and that's what it takes. It takes a level of selflessness and self-reflection of, hey, what do I have to do to help this team win? And what I've been noticing, guys are stepping up in different moments. Derek White against Miami, and then we have Drew Holiday the last couple games flirting with triple doubles. You know, so that is the thing that I've been looking at that I'm really happy that we're moving in that direction.
We talked a lot about sacrifice before the season, the idea that, you know, you guys went through it in 2008, that someone was going to have to lose a little bit of their stat line. But how hard is that from an NBA player's perspective to know when to know when you're supposed to step up in the moment and when you're supposed to maybe throttle down and let someone else who's going do their thing?
Well, I'm a guy. I was a role player my whole career. So coming in, I knew what my job was, and that's what it is. But as far as those stars, talking to them, you know, I had conversation with players. It's just about the feel of the game, you know, whatever the game. And when you're trying to win, it's different when you're young and you're trying to get stats and you're just trying to get that next contract and then get that other big contract after that, and you're doing those things and getting all the personal accolades, individual accolades. But when you're trying to get a team, as a team, you're trying to achieve a goal, it's certain things that you have to do. And I was talking to Paul one day, and he was like, man, it's whatever the game dictates to me. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes I'm going to be out there trying to get, or if it's a certain time of the game where he look up and see the time, he's like, well, I got to start doing this more. I got to start trying to take over in this manner. Well, that's what these guys are doing. That they understand that the game dictates what you need to be doing. It lets you know.
Question number 2. Let's flip it. What's the most concerning aspect through 9 games?
It's the consistency of the bench, I would say. I think that it's been games where they've been good, and I think that Washington game was probably one of their better games. And in the game against the game last night that we had against the other was Brooklyn. Brooklyn, yeah.
They all blend together.
Yeah,
after
right.
a while.
They do all blend together. The game against Brooklyn last night, I thought that they shot the ball really well last night. But I want to see them be more consistent. Night in and night out, and then also in the tough moments. There's going to be times where it's not going to be an easy game. We're not going to be up, and it's not going to be comfortable, and you're going to come in situations where you're going to have to deliver, whether it be 4 or 5 points and assist here, a steal there, take a charge, whatever it is, some rebounds. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to deliver in those moments. So that's the only thing, and it's not a major concern. I don't have a red flag, and I'm not like, hey, this is something that's at high alert, but it's something that is that I am aware of and I'm looking at and I'm monitoring.
Yeah, look, I think if you rewind to our preseason pod, that was what we said. We were a little concerned about the depth, especially at the big man position. I think it's absolutely fair to still be a little bit concerned. Like you said, they've had their good moments. They were terrible in that Wizards game, but came back against the Pacers and had a big night. They were, spotty against the 76ers, but came back against Brooklyn and then the Raptors. So maybe that just comes down to it. Like there is going to be some ebb and flow there. Your top 6 is loaded. I will say I'm in that bench group with, now that we're calling Al Horford a bench guy. His shooting has been slightly off. I'm eager to see if he can sort of get that thing back to being such, because like last year in the playoffs, Al didn't seem like he missed. And maybe that's what will happen. He'll get to the playoffs and he just locks into another level and off he goes. But that shot has been inconsistent to start the year. Need to see Al start to make this. Tell me about the starters. Are you surprised? Like, their numbers are off the charts right now. They were plus 82 going into that game against the Raptors, plus 20 on that. So they're plus 102, outscoring teams by 102 points on the court. Their net rating is up like at over 40 at this point. This is like historic level stuff for the starting five. As good as we knew they would be, are you surprised at all that they're that good?
No, I'm not surprised because first off, let's just go with our guard play, with Derek White and Drew Holiday, two winners. They make all the right plays, and I think those are the quintessential plug-and-play guys. I don't care where you take Derek White or where you take Drew Holiday. You put them anywhere, they will figure a way out to help the team win basketball games. They just make all the right winning plays on both sides of the ball. And then you see Jason has taken another step. While we talk about tonight's game and how he manipulated the pick and roll, and he's been allowing the game to come to him and taking whatever the defense is getting him, whatever the game is telling him to do, he's doing that. Jalen had been, I think Jalen is at a spot to where everybody's expecting him to come out and give it 30 every night,
right.
Because everybody's watching that contract and say, oh, yeah, well, he got paid this, what he's on. But some nights it's not going to be his night, and some night it is going to be his night. And I think Porzingis has a lot to prove because people say, oh, man, you did it on a bad team last year. Oh, why did New York not want you? Why did Dallas give up on you? These are all, what is the thing about that? So I think he has something to prove. And then, so with all that mix coming together, you got two guys that I feel like are plug and play. You got two superstars, and you got a guy that has to try to prove itself. And I think as the year goes on, the whistle will change for him because Porzingis has got a pretty bad whistle thus far this season. And it's just because he's been in the league. He's been on teams that haven't been really that good. And the refs are going to have to adjust. They just see Porzingis and they remember from last year, the year before that. Well, when you come to a brand new team and a team that's priding themselves on defense, and you got guys that are all NBA defensive team players out on the court, then you also have a way of you are incorporating in that, and it elevates your game defensively. The refs have to start reffing him a little different than they, not off reputation, off what they're seeing right now.
And I like that there was a lot of talk before the season about how would the starting lineup look and who would be the guy that went to the bench. I love that the group huddled right before the start of the season, and Al was sort of the guy who said, you know what, even though I've been a starter all my career, this is what's best for the team, this best accentuates our depth, and that it's flowed so good for that first group. And then you have the luxury of bringing Al off the bench. Derek White has been phenomenal. I think for me, that's the biggest thing that jumps out about that starting group. I knew what Jason and Jalen could do. I had good feeling that Kristaps was going to fit in well, that Drew would do what he does. But getting more time for Derek White has just been such a boon for this team. And that first group has been unreal. Like, you almost wish maybe they will play him a whole bunch even more obviously in the playoffs, but I wonder what that is. Like right now I think they're averaging about like 16 minutes or 18 minutes per game as a group. Does that go up to 24 minutes? Are they playing half the game together? That's quite the luxury based on where they are.
Look no further than the award-winning 24 Auto Group. With over 2,600 vehicles in stock, the brands you love, backed by the savings and service you can count on. Visit today or shop online at 24autogroup.com.
Question number 4. What is the biggest surprise for you so far? What jumps out about this team that maybe you didn't expect going in? Is there a player that's either above expectation, below expectation, a way they're playing, something they're doing on the court?
I think that I won't even call it a surprise. I'm happy. I'm surprisingly happy that I see that they changed, that they're taking care of the basketball a lot better than they have been. They've been, at times in crunch situations and crunch time, and we haven't really been put in these situations that much this season.
When you're up 30, it's a lot easier to manage those situations.
You get a lot more comfortable. We haven't been put in those situations, so we haven't seen it on a consistent basis, but they have been taking care of the basketball a lot better than they had been in the previous couple years that I've been here covering the team.
All right, let's step back. I'm going to ask you about the biggest threat, but our friends at Fanatics Sportsbook, I was looking at their odds to win the Eastern Conference. The Celtics are still the best odds at plus 150. Milwaukee's at plus 180. That was before The Bucks lost to the Magic on Saturday night, 112-97. Another double-digit loss for the Bucks. Philadelphia is at plus 700, and they were 7-1 as of Saturday night. Cleveland and Miami rounding out the top 5. Surprised at all? Is like who is the biggest threat to them in the Eastern Conference? Will Milwaukee figure it out? Is Philly shortening that gap in your mind? Like where does the East stand through the first eighth of the season?
I give Philly all of the credit. Got a new coach, a new voice over there. Guys are rejuvenated, revitalized, or sometimes you hear the same voice and a change of voice changes everything. And I think those guys are out there playing. Maxey is stepping up. Tobias Harris looks like a different player out there. Joel Embiid is who he is. We know what that is. They're well coached. So I think that especially we have been the big bad Celtics to them.
Mm-hmm.
We've been always putting them out. We've been always big brothering them and stuff like that. So I think that just on that, what you're going to get from them. The Milwaukee, I think eventually Milwaukee will get it together. I think they have taken a step back defensively, losing Drew, but I think they took a step forward offensively. So it's a give and take with that. But really, I truly believe, and I said this, that it's the Celtics are the biggest threat to themselves. Is if they don't play the right brand of basketball, understand that they create their identity and stick to that and say, hey, this is how we're going to play night in and night out. It doesn't matter who we're playing. If we're playing the Toronto Raptors, if we're playing the Minnesota Timberwolves, if we're playing the Philadelphia 76ers, if it's the Miami Heat, this is what you're going to get night in and night out. And to me, that is the challenge with this team, is their consistency on both sides of the ball, understanding that whatever it is that they got to do to win a game, like tonight, if it is pounding the paint, then, hey, let's do that. If it's another night, hey, we're getting in the paint, but we're going to kick it out and we're knocking down shots, then we do that. But it all stems from playing defense, being consistent on the defensive end. So I truly believe that it's really the Boston Celtics are the only team that could get in the way of them, and they're the biggest threat to themselves if they don't bring it night in and night out.
It's hard for me to argue with you. Last year we kept saying the only team that could really beat themselves, and I know the Miami Heat eventually did, but it sure felt like the Celtics put themselves in so many compromising positions that it ultimately spelled their demise. I've been consistent with two things in my time here at NBC Sports Boston. One, my love of Robert Williams, which, obviously a painful situation this week with him being lost for the year. But two, and to bring it back to the Eastern Conference odds, I've always considered the 76ers a fraud. So I'm going to whisper this right now. Not loud enough for Max Letterman, our producer, to hear. If he's over there. Yeah, cover the mics a little bit.
Yeah.
They actually kind of scare me a little bit right now. They really, maybe I'm overreacting to one game, and I've told you, I think the 76ers still need another piece. Like, they've got these picks now. I think there's still potential for them to go make a move, add another impact player. You're going to hear all the usual names coming off this Raptors game, like OG Anunoby is perpetually in the rumors. They're going to find the right person to pair that doesn't interfere with the Maxey development, that accentuates Joel Embiid. But if they were to use those picks and some salary combination, and you got contract year Tobias Harris, and you got these new bench pieces to fill out your depth, I am a little bit worried. I still think it's like probably a second round matchup, depending on what happens with the Bucks, and if they ever get up to the top of the standings. But I'm still, we're way too early to give them I think you said it, right? There's always a little bit of a honeymoon period with a new coach. I'm eager to see what the long-term vision is with the 76ers and where it goes from there. Powered by Fanatic Sportsbook, where you can earn up to 5% fan cash on your bets. All right, Eddie, you got to go home, but I got one last thing for you. Because this came up in the pregame show. We were talking about Kristaps Porzingis having 6 technical fouls, and you brought up that you've been fined one time in your life. Well, besides technical fouls. But I just want to kind of give you the open floor here to, one, lead me through the moment that you decided to bust out the Sam Cassell dance. Was it organic? Did it just come to you in that moment? It
just happened. It was a big shot in a big moment.
Well, let's lead them through. So it was against Oklahoma City, right? It was
against Oklahoma City. I actually hadn't made a shot that whole game, pretty much. I had good looks, but I was missing, and I kept saying, man, especially in that time, Spo went to me, and I was on the bench at the time, but Spo went to me in that moment to come in, and I was pretty much going to be a floor spacer, but the shot went up. I think D-Wade shot it. Mike Miller got the rebound, kicked it out to LeBron, and LeBron makes the right play all the time. My guy rotated over to LeBron like he should. Kicked it over, like he shouldn't actually, but kicked it over in the corner. You can't leave me in the corner. He kicked it over in the corner, and and I took the shot and I knocked it down, and then I did the dance. So Adam Silver, can I get that 25 back, man? Come on. I got fined for something that nobody got fined for. I was the only one that got fined for something like that. So can I please get that 25 back? Thank you.
How many years has it been?
Since 2011. I'm never forgetting it, though. I'm not forgetting it, man. Can I get that 25 back, Adam, please?
So what happens? The next check comes in and you're just like, damn.
It was light. It was light. It was super light. I'm like, hey, 25 light, that's... Man, come on now.
So there's an official, like can you protest it? Like,
I did. I'm still protesting right now. You see, I'm making my case right now. I'm still going.
I'm just saying, like, do you have to fill out like a complaint form?
It's an open case right now, so I'm just. It's open still.
Adam Silver.
Let's close it, Adam. Let's close it with the 25 coming this way, please.
Like, have some benevolence on my man. We have to go through the archives. I now need to see how many people have been fined for doing the Sam Cassell dance. How much money has Sam Cassell?
He never got fined for it. He never got fined for it.
You know what? I'm eager to see if that's true, because if it is, then that there is a precedent. And
he told me.
Really?
He said he never got fined for that. So that's the reason why I was protesting so much.
Well, here we go. We are going to have to. We're going to have to pull some strings here. I'm sure Adam Silver is a big Celtics Talk podcast listener, and we will find out if we can get some
Adam
money back.
Holla at your boy, man.
All right, we need to get Eddie on a plane. Everybody go like, subscribe. Check us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk podcast.